Hi, everybody. It's Dee Slater, and welcome to our Wednesday night class. Thanks so much for joining. I'll give everybody just a few minutes to get notifications and get on here and hopefully join me here tonight. Well, tonight while people are coming on, I thought that what I would do is just start something a little different. There's so many times that I have classes. I do 2 classes a month for both local and typically there's a kit to go option on that. And I thought what I would do is after the class and the kits are on the way, I would go ahead and come on and share the projects here on Facebook Live. So if you've got if you get the kits or attend class, you'll get a PDF, and of course you'll have the materials to make this, but then here will be a reminder, or if you got the kit to go, here's where you can come to watch me make the cards. Okay, so this class was the very best occasions class, and what it did is, and what we'll be doing here tonight, is it does feature the very best occasions bundle. And that comes with the very best occasions stamp set, as well as the very best trio punch. And so along the way, I'll be showing some tips and tricks on how to use this punch, maybe a little more successfully, especially with this really unique punch option here. So as you come on, if you want to say hi, that would be great. Otherwise, let's go ahead and we'll get started with class tonight. I'll switch the camera just to the project view. Give me just a quick second. All righty. So for class, what we're going to do is we're going to be making these 2 cards. They are so gorgeous. This class also features the Splendid Day Specialty Designer Series paper, where one side of it is a foil sheet, and then the other side is just another really pretty designer paper, but one side's got the foil on it. And so we'll be making these. Now, if you got the kit to go, you will be receiving materials to make 2 of each card. So you have a total of 4 cards. And then also at class, what I'll do is I'll share with you how that we can make these origami bags. That means that there's no cutting and no glue to make these. So it's a fun little fold to learn how to make. All right. So if you want to, as you come on, say hi, and we'll go from there. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll make this card first. And I'll go ahead and get these other materials out of our road. Not too far out. I want to be able to have them within reach. Okay, so what we're going to do first is you've got the card base, which is a thick basic white cardstock cut at 5.5 by 8.5. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to layer this with basic gray. This piece is cut at 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, and we're going to layer that with soft seafoam green, and I've ran it through ahead of time. In the class, you would have gotten yours pre-embossed too for the kids to go with the timeless type embossing folder. And I've got to kind of just what I want to say, I'm going to tell on myself here. I have totally ran myself out of the cardstock. I used every little bit of the big one for classes. And luckily I had I don't know if you can see this, but I had this Subtles Designer Series paper. So for here tonight, I did a little cheat and I've embossed one of the Designer Series paper with it too. All right, let's go ahead and we'll get our layers down first. And I'm using liquid glue to get our layers. Again, if you got the kit to go, this is how you'll assemble your kit. So just so that you can, if you want to, you can follow the PDF instructions that will be emailed to you tomorrow, or you can just watch the video along with me. So we'll get that card front on. And then I don't have the exact measurements here in front of me, shoot. But I'm fairly certain that this is 2.5 by 4, and this then would be 1/8 larger. I'll make sure to have the measurements up here later on. And we'll layer these two together. Love the foil side of that Splendid Day paper. So pretty. Well, let me just get my ruler out here real quickly, and we'll just find that out. Let's see, the designer paper is 2 3/4 by 4, and then that would be 2 7/8 by 4 1/4. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and multi-purpose glue. We're just going to do single layers on this. At least that's how I did it. And we'll put this slightly off to the side. I'm having it at an angle so that I can stamp there. Hi, Janet. Thanks for tuning in. All right. So now we're going to get our very best occasion bundle out. And this is a piece of 5/8 by 3.5 basic white cardstock. And what we're going to do is get our very best trio punch. And again, for those that got the kit to go, all of the punching was done for you as well. And I'm going to use this angle punch here. And when you go in, all of these have stoppers on both sides, or should I say guides. And so you just want to make sure that you get flush with it and then push it all the way till it stops. And then you're just going to press right in the middle. And we get that nice angle. We're going to take a piece of basic gray that's 1/8 larger than that. And so this is 3/4 by 3 5/8. Same thing, go all the way to the end, punch, and now we'll have our layering element. And until you get the hang of your punch, what I would recommend is that you do the punching and then stamping, just so that you can see where I'll get the card in here too. Since we want to have the stamp off to the right, we almost need to know where our angle is on it first. All right, so on this one, I'm using the Thinking of You. And on all of the cards, just using basic gray ink. So we don't have to change out ink colors at all. And I hope my stamping's good because it's always a little tricky when I'm at a little different angle. I'm going to go ahead and go with it. If I was doing this again, I would go ahead and cut it and do it again. But well, I'm going to live with this one for right now. You know what? I'm just going to do another one. Let's just do it again. Do that. Because when I put it together, I want it to be a cute one to send. Get my stamp again. Let's see. See if I can line it up at a little better angle. Oh my goodness. Well, my first one was better. Let's just go with that. And go ahead and put that down just with liquid glue. And we'll layer it. Okay. So that's how you can get the layers with that angle. I did want to show you that. Let me get some other paper here. That 3/4 is about all that you can do if you want a continuous angle here like this. So here's like a little larger one. You would end up with just a partial angle on it. So this right here is 3/4. And so that's why I did that 3/4 with the basic gray. So just a little tip if you're wanting to do the whole angle look on that. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll get this down. And I'm going to pop this up with some dimensionals. And we'll go ahead and we'll get 3 of them on here. Probably should close up that ink. I'm going to be bound and determined to get my hand in it. Alrighty. And we'll do that. And also a class, I used the blossom punch or the flower punch here, and used the copper foil paper. This is on the weekly special, and today's the last day to get this at a savings if you want that. So this happened to be on one of the specials. So I'm going to go ahead and take, let's see, probably a mini dimensional, just because sometimes gluing the foil together doesn't work, but doing a dimensional does. All right. And then I'm using, this is the current leaf style punch that's in the catalog. It's called the bow punch. And you get these 2 leaf images out of it. And I just am kind of obsessed with using it. I don't know if you guys like that too. I'm going to go ahead and put another dimensional here and kind of offset it just a little bit, because I'm going to use 2 dimensionals, one to put the leaves behind it, and then another one to actually, whoops, you know, so that it sticks really good. Do another dimensional on the project. So just kind of layer it up a little bit like this. Oops, I'm going to pull this down just a smidgen. And then if you don't want that extra tail on the bottom, we'll cut this off. And we'll bring in our card and get another dimensional, kind of put it off to the side just a little bit. That way one dimensional holds our leaves, and then the other one is going to be what really helps make it stick. And then the kit included some gems. And your gems and the ribbon that comes with it, everybody, I just put them all in one of the packages, but it's not meant to use it all on one card. It's spread out your ribbon and your gems on the different cards. So one of the gems, it's going to go right into the center of the flower. So that's kind of using the Very Best Trio punch with using the angle punch on that. Another thing I wanted to share with you on the angle punch is, let me get my paper back out here, is that the angle punch does make a great tag punch. So if you put it in one corner and then come in from the opposite direction, go to where it stops and punch, you can make a tag of any width that you would like. And we'll see this again, but this is the slot punch. And what that's going to do is make a slot for us to put our ribbon. And you just can either mark it, or I'm going to eyeball the center. And there's a line here. I'll show that in just a second. And then it makes a tag. And then there's a line that is on there, like a little groove that helps you line it up. Okay, so that's kind of the angle on the trio punch. And we'll get that card set off to the side. How's everybody doing? I hope okay so far. When I'm doing the instructions, it's kind of hard for me to look at the comments and do it at the same time. And every now and then I'll glance over. So please, if you have a question, don't hesitate, or a comment, don't hesitate to put something down so that I can, I'll get with it eventually, I promise. Okay, the next card that we're going to do is this beautiful one that uses the fresh freesia foil paper in the designer series of Splendid Day, and do a little background of fresh freesia as well. So again, we're going to start with our kind of a standard card base, which is 8.5 by 5.5. And I'm going to go ahead and fold it in half and get a nice crisp edge. And now we'll take our layering pieces here. This is our fresh freesia cardstock. That's cut at 4 by 5.25. Put that down. And next, what we're going to do is, with our layering pieces of basic gray, we're going to kind of give it a little jaunty angle here. So you just kind of keep it within the frame of the card here, and we're going to put that down at a slight angle just to mix it up so that we're not always, I always have to think, oh, I've got to layer it perfectly. But in this case, we don't. We can just kind of angle it. And this is what's good with using liquid glue, because you do have a little wiggle room as you get it positioned. I think that looks good. And then our foil piece, though, I'm going to put that so it's going to be straight on. So this is only the gray piece is slightly angled. And we'll put that on. So if nothing else, maybe the class here tonight will give you a couple of different layouts to try. Okay, we have that. All right, so for this, this card, we are going to make a tag. And like I said, like we've already seen how to use the label punch on that. So those that got class, you know, you'll get your rectangle piece. This is 1.5 by 2.5. And even though we're going to use the fancy corner punch here, on these smaller tags, that we're going to make, I like to go ahead and punch the slot for the ribbon first. And so again, I'm just going to line it up, and like I'm going to kind of be quiet and so that you can hear me. Can you hear where it kind of has a stopper? So you just go till it stops all the way to the end. Going to line it up, and you always just want to, you can just use your palm. It's an easy punch right in the center, and you get that. Okay, so when you use this design here, and I'll show this card here again, you get 2 looks to it. You get this straight down, and then you get like a semicircle that goes outward. But then if you use the other one, it goes inward. And so it goes in the opposite direction, which we'll see on another card. And so for this particular one, like wherever you see, like if the gray outline is curved up, that's going to be where it's going to punch. So I want to punch. So this is the way. So if you have the slot and then you have this, you're going in this direction to make this particular look to it. So you have the rounded on the outside. We're going to go up to it stops and punch. And then we're going to punch and flip. And the reason why we do that, if we don't flip it, we don't get the same punch. Let me show you what I did on one of our earlier Facebook Lives. What I did on this is I punched and then I just turned it and punched again. But if you look real closely, this one has the rounded going out and this one has it, the round going inward. So here's the curve going out and in. So they're not symmetrical. In order to do that, you have to put it in one side, punch, and then flip and punch again. And then you get the same look on both sides. So that was a lesson. That was kind of interesting to learn, but you punch and flip for the same corners look on those. All right, let's go ahead and we'll do some stamping. I'm going to do with comfort and love on it. You know, sometimes we just kind of go through these periods where it seems like we need a lot of sympathy, or maybe people aren't feeling quite, you know, the best, and you just want to let people know that you're thinking of them. We'll try this again. Oh my goodness. I am having stamping issues tonight. We'll cover that up with a little bling. All right, so with class, everybody got about 4 feet of our Fresh Freesia open weave ribbon. It's beautiful. This was actually on sale last week. It's not on sale right now. I believe these 2 colors of the in color, it's the, let me just see here. This is the soft succulent and the evergreen, the evening evergreen. These ribbons are delish. They tie beautifully. I love them. All right, so I think just to make it easier, what I like to do is put both of these in, and we're going to come in from the back side. And I'll push both of those in, get both of the tails. And then you have this little loop-de-loop, and we're going to pull both tails through the loop. And you just kind of want to be careful not to pull too tight because you could rip your tag there. And then everybody got some baker's twine. You got plenty of baker's twine. So, I got cut two very generous strips or pieces so that you could easily tie. And I'm just going to kind of cinch it right there at the top of the knot. And you can either make another knot or make a bow. I'm going to go ahead and make a bow. So again, you got plenty so that you don't have to try to really work your nails. And I'll kind of do this and get the size that I want and pull. That looks good. Get my paper snips. Cut some of the excess off. And come back in here. And for this card, what I've done is I've also used the bow punch on all of it here, on all of them. And so on this one, I'm using fresh freesia, seafoam green, and vellum. And we're just going to layer these all together on the back of our tag. And if we want to on that, I think what I'll do is I'll get some of my Stampin' Seals to just show you that option. So if you want to, instead of a dimensional, which is what I did here, but just in case you like your Stampin' Seal Plus, is you can build those elements up on the back. So I'm going to start with the green on the back, or no, I need to build it from like the purple, the fresh freesia, then a nice little vellum accent. And I'm kind of obsessed with vellum at the moment. It just adds a little interest and mystery kind of to it. So you can do something like that. And then we'll get our other ones. Again, kind of angle it so that it angles like this. Whoops. Hit where my my little tape is at, my adhesive. And let's see. And then put that. Okay. So what a cute little embellishment that you could just use anywhere. Go ahead and get the dimensionals. And what I like to do with the dimensionals is go ahead and reinforce where the tails of our leaf image are at. Do this. And get this down. And we'll get our little tag right in the center of it. You can angle it if you like. I'm just going to kind of center it. And then we can get our gems. And I'm going to hide my little boo-boo here. I've got lots of boo-boos tonight. I'll go ahead and just kind of make it a little cluster. And no one knows. And so again, you would class would make 2 of these if you got the kit to go. All right, that's the cards. Now let's look at the bag. At class, I just have to laugh at myself, everybody. It's like it's so hard to kind of describe how to make these origami bags unless you've made them before. But I think I have a way of making it easier for us. So let me get this push off to the side for just a second. All right, so what I did is I started with a piece of 6 by 12 of our designer series paper. And ahead of time, everyone got it scored, but you score it at along the 6-inch side at 1.5 and 4.5. And then you turn it along the 12-inch side and you score it at 1 1/4 and 6 3/4. And what we want to do is, once you have that, we want to get our bone folder after the scoring, and we really want to get nice crisp edges. The more that you go over all of the score lines, the better it is. Origami folds love to have the paper relaxed. And so even if you wanted to, you could flip it the other way and just really work those score lines in all of the directions. Okay. Now, since we want, normally we would have it so that, let's see, you know, you'd want whatever side that you want facing outward is you put it face down and then you fold inward. But I'm going to use the opposite side because it's a little easier to see the print side versus the foil side. So what I did is I took a marker and I just kind of I just marked where the score lines would be so that we can see it a little easier. So for those of you that took card class local here yesterday, this is going to be hopefully a little easier than how we did it. You decide, let me know if you happen to watch this. What we're going to do is with the 6-inch side up, we're going to fold the sides in. And these center score lines here, where we scored it at 5 1/4 and 6 3/4, make a little square. What we're going to do is take the corners of those squares where the score lines are here, and we're going to fold it so that it meets the outer score line. So again, you can kind of take a visual here, and this is the direction of the fold that we're going to do. So I'm going to open it back up and take the corner, and I'm going to follow the arrow and have that corner meet the outer edge. And then with our bone folder, we're going to get in that corner and make a nice crisp diagonal. All right, and when it's okay to let that relax, I'm going to open that up, fold the other side, grab this corner, and it's going to come and meet the outer edge, making an inside diagonal. See if you can see that. And once we get it lined up, we're going to use our bone folder, get in there, make a nice corner, and here's the diagonal. Okay, go ahead and open that up, and I flipped it, and we're going to do the other side. So close one side, grab a corner, bring that corner out to the edge, bring your bone folder in, and really crease that diagonal. Again, here's the diagonal. Let that open up and relax. Grab the last one. This is our 4th one that we did. Grab the corner, bring it out to the outer edge, come in, get a nice crease on the corner. All right, so we've got all of the score lines. Now if we bring our bag back in and bring the ends together, we've just made our little bag. Cute. So that's how we, you'll take your 6x6s, and everybody just got a variety of the paper on it. So you got 2 different looks on it. And then we're going to make our labels. Okay, so again, just kind of remember this diagram here. This is what you might have to watch a couple of times. Maybe grab some scrap designer paper and try it before you do your foil. All right, so now for the label on this, I'm going to start out with a 2.5 by 2.5 piece of basic white. And we're going to bring in our punch again. This time, let's try, like the last time we did it so that it had the outside curve. If we use this one, it'll be the inside. So we want to bring it all in so that it's side by side, punch and flip. So it's always punch and flip to get the same look. And then we'll turn it, go to another free corner, punch and flip. And then by doing that, you have all of them have the little swoop in that way. And then ahead of time, what I did is take this and we'll run it through our cut and emboss machine with a textured folder, and it looks like this. All right, ahead of time, I've got approximately a 1 1 1/8 circle. I used a circle punch, but you can use your circle dies on that. Hi, Linda. Hi, Karen. Thanks for joining. And we're going to go ahead and you can choose. I just kind of showed how you can do a happy birthday. You make my life happier. Of course, a little happy birthday is just that. You make my life happier could be just to tell somebody that, you know, just that you like that they're in your life. So let's go ahead and let's do the you make my life happier. And I'll get my gray ink. And whoops, gonna get stand up. Now, everybody did get the circle, but if I was at home, I'd probably do a stamp and punch. I am just like a hot mess on my stamping tonight. There we go. All right, so on this one, what I used is the soft sea foam, the green on that, again with our bow leaf punch, and then also vellum. And so let's do our Stampin' Dimensional trick, and you can always kind of put one here. And like what I like to do is do, if I've got room, I like to do 2 dimensionals for the leaf. And on this time, I want the vellum in front. So I'm going to go ahead and put that at an angle like, let's bring that in just a little bit. And then have the green in the back. And then start with the vellum because I want that in the front. And I'm all about making it a diagonal, but you might want to do it a little differently. That's up to you. Okay, oops, that one did not stick. Let's do it this way. Vellum and green. That way I can see. All right. So by doing them opposite that way, I can come in and get 2 more dimensionals so that it sticks well on our label that we made with the very best, the trio label punch there. And we'll put this at an angle here. And then it would go onto our bag that we made. Oops, I don't have that centered at all. There we go. And of course, our bag is backwards here, but if I, and you can see I tried to do it on the foil and that marker just kind of went right off of it. Kind of the beauty of this origami, if you change your mind of which one that you want, you can go ahead and flip it over and just get the diagonals going in the opposite direction. I'll get these done real quick so that we can see the foil side. Again, if you're just tuning in, I've got a little trick on how to do that. Oh, okay, there we go. And then with our ribbon, we can just tie a ribbon around it and put our embellishment, our little label on front of it. Again, then here's the bags that we, that I made that you'll get the tutorial for with your projects. Alrighty, that is our class here tonight. For those again that got the kits to go, this is what you'll be making. So I hope the video here, the live class, helps with putting those together if you have any questions outside of the tutorial. And if anybody would like, I have a link here on the video of subscribing to my emails, and then you could get notifications when I do a class if you want to get the kit to go or sign up for class. Alrighty, let's see. Hi, Pam and everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining me live. And I hope that if you didn't join me live, that you get a chance to watch the replay. And I'll go back and I'll respond to any questions or comments that you have here in just a little bit. Have a wonderful night, everybody, and happy crafting. Bye-bye.